Merry meet. This is Blue Whisper, and I'm just throwing together this little video just to kind of give you an idea of the types of things that I use in my practice, whether I'm doing readings or spell casting or whatever. Some of the things that I use the tools for readings would be this is my crystal ball. I call him Charlie. Um, I use him a lot in divinations. Why I call him Charlie, don't ask me. I don't know. That's just the name that um, was given. So Charlie is used a lot for divination, also to see fortunes, for lack of a better word, to look in here and maybe give you a reading of what's going on. So also Charlie is also used in spell work. Um, I feel like Charlie just lends a lot of energy to the spells. When I'm doing a spell, I'll have him up near the altar plate, and it just kind of gives that added energy. And because it's crystal, it feels like it magnifies and makes the spell that much stronger. So that's Charlie. Now, a smaller crystal ball that I have, this is obsidian, and this is great in using for banishing, blocking, um, binding, and I may sometimes feel led to use this while casting a spell. Also, to remove negativity um, when there's a lot of negative forces coming, when I feel the negativity in a spell I'm trying to cast or do for somebody, or open up that block, and it just really, really, really helps. So that's that. Another divination tool I use is my tarot cards. I don't know if you can see these. My tarot cards I'll use for different readings. Now, I like to do more intuitive readings rather than by the book. Personally, I feel like the book is great for a general reading. To me, it's like it has universal validity. It's going to be almost true for anybody when you go by the book. So I just really tune in, tap into who I'm speaking to when I'm doing the reading, and try to draw that energy and read intuitively. So the cards say something to me, and my readings have been almost 100% accurate. Um, One thing I do tell people when I do readings of any kind, whatever I see in your future, um, the future is not set in stone. So if we're doing like a three-card draw, past, present, future, there's not much you can do to change your past. There's really not anything you can do to change what's in your past. The only thing you can do is forge your future based on what you're living today and what I read of what you're doing today. So if you don't like where your future is going from what I read, you use what you see based on today and the present to change it. So the future is ever changing. And I like to tell all my clients that. Um, Future is not written in stone. You have your chance to create your own future, and we can certainly help with that, with spells and everything. So I do use a wide variety of different, crystals and stones in my practice, and these are just a few of what I do have. Casting circles when I do spell work or readings or whatever. Um, I always like to keep, this is like a coarse sea salt, charged by the moon. I charge everything I use, including the candles. Depending on the spell, may charge something in the moon, may use the sun, may use a full moon, may use a new moon. It just depends what this tool is going to be used for. And a lot of times, the things that I do make for the practice, um, there's pre-intent put into it of a general nature towards something. Some things I actually make specific for certain spells. So, I mean, yes, sage stick. We do smudging, um, all kind of things. I keep all my herbs and all my things that I use in glass, and I do have blends that I've put together. And this is just a very small sampling. Like I said, this here is my shut up powder. Somebody talking smack about you, I might bring this out. Um, and so I have different things. The oils, this here is just my plain blessed olive oil, used for candle dressings along with herbs. Um, Also can be used for anointing. Candles. And I'm going to talk about the store-bought candle for a minute. As long as you charge it, it's fine. I may feel led to use this. Definitely can carve things into it, dress the candle, burn it, set things around it. Um, and I use a wide variety of different colors. But that's used a lot. Now, what these are my hand-dipped candles. Let me pick these up. I hand dip these one at a time. It takes a long time to make these. In between each of the dippings, depending on the color and what the intent of the spell will be, I may roll it while it's still warm and damp to hold on to different herbs and pre-dress it. I'll add different oils into the wax itself. Um, so they're pre-dressed, and then you can dress them again if you need to, depending on how much power you want to put into that spell. And I use different sizes depending on the spell. So there's a lot of intent into these, very powerful. Also, I do mold different types of candles. This one here I won't really get into a whole lot, but it's for specific types of spells. So I will make poppets, and my specialty poppet would be a clay poppet that I make. Each poppet is made individually specific for each individual spell that we're casting. Usually a poppet has to do with maybe healing a certain part of the body. And they are never used for somebody else. So each poppet that I make, if we do a poppet spell for you, is individual, specific to the need of that spell. Some of the other things I have on here, some incense. I use stick and cone incense depending. I use powdered incense in the cauldron with charcoal discs. I have different types of waters that I might use in part with a spell that you may need me to do. Different symbols. I use the hand quite a bit. Let me see if I can get this up here. This hand, I feel like it lends energy and power, and there's just something about hands because this is what we feel with it, and I just feel like this is what contains where I'm letting the energy flow through. So I have my helping hand. So I do use that quite a bit, and different other symbols and things like that. Really won't get into a whole lot. Oh, real quick, I did want to bring this in. Sometimes I'll use different ribbons, usually black ribbon for like binding spells. Red maybe for, you know, binding a love to you. You can certainly use red, something passionate that, maybe something you're passionate about or whatever. So ribbons, sometimes string, twine, depending. And I've got a wide variety of different things that I use. And I just kind of wanted to go over that with you because should you decide that you need any spell work done or a reading done, that you're familiar with a little bit of the things that I use and do to a small extent. When you order a spell, there's definitely going to be a consultation prior to spell work and or reading to prepare you for it. You will receive pictures of your spell as I work it upon payment. In other words, as soon as the payment comes through, then the spell will be cast. Each spell is so unique and different that there are really no two spells exactly alike. Therefore, the spells I cast are never exactly alike. So if you see somebody doing a love spell and they have a certain way they do it, I may have a different way that I do it. And then if I do another love spell for somebody else, it may not look exactly the way I did it for you. It's just the nature of each individual, each person, the circumstances, and spirit-led. So all the spells I do are spirit-led, and the results of that will show in the spell itself. It'll show in the different color candles I use, the different herbs that I may feel led to use, the type of spell that I might do. Um, it just really depends on each individual circumstance. And so everything's going to be priced differently. I do not have any set prices. Um, I mean, certainly if you're requesting that your spell be cast with a hand-dipped candle, it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive because there's a lot of time, energy, and a lot of intent put into these candles because, like I said, hand-dipped one at a time, and you have to dip them several times, set them up, and dip them again. So depending on how many colors, the type of herbs, and how much work I put into the actual casting of the spell. So that's just kind of a little rundown on that. My card readings, again, it's going to be different. Any of the readings that I do, it's individual. Again, you might want 10 cards, somebody else might want only 3 cards read. So it's not per minute. This is per read, per card, and it depends on what we're looking at. And of course, with your consultation, we can discuss those things. And it's just easy to do. Just look for Contact Me on the webpage. Click on that and you'll see a little area there where you can email me, or my phone number is right there. You can either call or text that same number and I will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. If you prefer a phone call, let me know that too. So, rather than texting. Personally, I prefer to call somebody and talk to them. It kind of helps me get a sense of where they're at. Every spell, every reading comes with a consultation prior to actual spell casting and readings. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there. If you have any questions, please go to the Contact Me site, post your questions in the box, send them to me, and we'll go from there. And hope to talk to you soon. You have a very blessed day.